Hey, what's up? Liron here. Thank you for joining me in this video. Today, I'm gonna just provide you a quick update. I actually wanted to, so I did this painting. It's me taking a selfie or photo through the mirror. And I wanted to work on something more realistic and detailed today. I'm gonna explain in a moment, but I was considering filming the whole process, but then I figured I want to do this for myself and I want to be really fully concentrated. So I decided not to film the process and just allow myself to do it at my own leisure. Because as soon as the camera is on, it changes some things. You have to be aware of it. You have to make sure it's charged. You have enough battery, enough space. But in any case, what I wanted to do is, and this is something I've been thinking about for a while now, is I wanted to work on my skills of painting something in a more detailed manner, more realistic manner. And it's something I've been thinking about. It started especially because of, or thanks to, or at default of doing a lot of plein airs in which I always by default let go and I simplify a lot of things. I make something that's my own impression. And I love it, and Impressionism is the thing I love the most, but I do feel like some of the things I'm doing are a little gimmicky, or a little more, I just do them as a force of habit, you know, that's how people look, so that's how I put them into my scenes. That's what a building's wall looks like, so that's how I paint it. And I wanted to move away from that and to go back to actually observing the thing and portraying it more accurately. And this is why I did this more of a bit more of a realistic, I would say, interpretation of a picture. And I chose something I wouldn't necessarily normally paint on purpose because I wanted to try something maybe even a little more challenging. So not a high contrast portrait or not even really a high contrast photo at all, because I wanted to force myself to look at all the range of values, look at all the different subtleties, and I will show it to you up close. And I will show you, probably I'll splice through the video pictures of the process as well. But in any case, I wanted to work on my ability to really carefully observe and put in all the details and put in all the information I see. And the purpose is I want that to feed into my Impressionism, because the next time maybe that I'm out and I'm painting based on a view I see, because I've practiced this a couple of times, I'll be more able to capture things in a bit more of an accurate manner, because I trained myself to look at things with this kind of a depth. Because what I usually do is I try to capture the whole impression and the mood and atmosphere and all of those good things that impressionistic art does, but I wanted to move beyond that and have my impression a little closer and more loyal to the subject matter. So wherever I cut corners or wherever I kind of delegate to doing something more automatically, I wanted to avoid that, which is why I did this painting. And so the drawing stage was quite boring. I just traced. I actually traced. I put the photo on my computer and I traced through the screen. So I'm not ashamed to admit I do that sometimes if I just want to focus on the painting stage. And then the painting, I approached it in a very interesting manner. What I did was I worked in sections really. I didn't try to cover everything up because that'll make things highly complicated. And I didn't want to go that route. I wanted to go with the section by section type of work. So I actually got started with the pants. I did them just fully black. Then I moved on to this area in the shirt and I covered it with a very thin wash because it wasn't white or as white as the background or as white as the highlight here on this hand. So I wanted to cover it with a very light wash. I then moved on to this area and I covered everything up but some highlight. So I worked really in sections. What this does is it allows you to, it's really against a lot of the things I normally do on purpose, because it allows you to be more accurate in the area you're working on. If you start to merge a whole bunch of areas, you're running the risk of the technique and the color drying on ruining your accuracy. So you are distracted by things like the technique when you need to think about the accuracy of the values and the accuracy of following the drawing itself. So I divided it into different sections. And this, all the background I added in as a final stage. Really, I finished the entire myself, and then I worked on this area around and these areas. So it's quite interesting, the result, I think. I do think it's way more realistic than most of my work, and if you look at it from afar, it does look a bit like a photo, which is what I was aiming for. That's exactly what I wanted. It's interesting to see where I cut myself some slack when I paint in a more impressionistic way, because this forced me to think about these things and think about, oh, when I do this, I usually just do that, or when, you know, so I hope this experience will feed into doing really impressionistic work outside and inject it with some more realism, which is what I'm aiming for. I want to do the best impressionism I can that's still realistic. So I hope that makes sense. I wanted to share with you an experiment, something that I did off camera and that I did in my free time, and to show you how, again, it's not perfect obviously because it's something I don't do as often. So I want you to feel encouraged by it, to, if you have an idea or something you want to try and you just didn't get to because maybe you're scared, maybe it's different from what you usually do. Don't be scared. I do these experiments all the time, and there's only benefits to be gained from these kinds of things. So I do want to encourage you to do that. With that being said, I think we can wrap up the video. A couple of plugs I have to. So first, my Sketching People book, the digital version is out. I'm going to link it down below. How to sketch people anywhere, anytime, or anytime, anywhere. And I'll soon publish the paperback version as well, okay, really soon. So it's funny because it's really, I didn't even think about it, but that's a person, duh. But this book talks just about the sketching part of people, and it's a very intuitive approach. It's not so much anatomy or complex things, it's more of a fun little thing to do. And then I also link down below my beginner's drawing course and my frustration-free watercolor course. Now, if you're frustrated with watercolor or drawing, I hope these will be good solutions for you, okay? So this is it, a bit of a short one for today. I hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you again in the next vid.